Hey hotshots, Jess with Emotional Fire Academy here today to talk about how to stop suffering as a highly sensitive person. Subscribe to my channel if you are an HSP looking to up level, evolve, drop your sensitivity, transcend beyond it. That's what we do here. Welcome to Emotional Fire Academy. Sorry, I really wanted to emphasize the title there. So, welcome. I'm Jess. I am a NLP master practitioner and former firefighter. Before I go any further, I want to let you know, do you want to stop suffering? Do you really want to stop suffering? Sign up for my mini course. It's only $8. It gets you started into emotional mastery, and I've gotten great feedback on it. So really, this is a great starting point, and it's a low investment and a high value. So check that out. Link is below in the description box. Oh, we're going to get so real today, my friends. So real. I'm just going to be totally candid because this was something that, again, I suffered so hard. I never thought I would get to where I am now. And so I want to kind of tell you, looking back, give you kind of some of my hindsight and some of what I see that now that I'm outside of the bubble, so to speak, to kind of point out and just bring awareness. The normalization of suffering in the highly HSP community is huge. If you join any of the groups, 95% of the posts are just pure pain. You can feel it in what people are writing. Just absolute pain. And every time the question is is this just me or is this normal? That always seems to be the question posed at the end. Am I crazy? Is there something wrong with me? The answer is we have full control over this. We don't have to accept suffering as a way of life. We don't have to accept suffering as the HSP identity. We don't have to believe the adage, oh, what I feel so deeply. Or, I just am so sensitive. I'm so reactive. I'm so whatever the story is. No. That's what's keeping it alive is the story, is using language to fuel that fire. Language is kind of like a bellows. You know that thing that the old 1800s kind of like accordion looking thing that you use on a fire to stoke the fire? It just blows air on it. Language is the air. Language is the air. We literally, we're thinking a thought and then we work that fire of emotion up by language. We work ourselves into this thought storm by using language. It's so powerful. And we don't have to accept anything. When we start to, again, take control of what we're thinking and what we're feeling is thinking with your body. So it's really thinking in the mind and in the body. Thinking, if we align with thinking in a certain way and we make it habitual, that's the key. This is really a simple process. This is just rehabitualizing ourselves to a state of not suffering, to a state of peace and calm, to a state of everything's okay right now. Everything is okay. Nothing needs to change. Everything is okay. I'm okay. We're just rehabituating. So assuming that suffering is a part of being a highly sensitive person, assuming suffering is something you have to do as a highly sensitive person, assuming that being sensitive means being in pain all the time. No, don't accept this as your reality. You don't have to accept this. I want to wake you up into this fact that on being on the other side and having been that person who did suffer a lot for years, coming to the other side and realizing wow, I did not have to suffer that much. Wow, I wish I could get that time back and have woken up way earlier than I did. But it's cool. Everything's cool. I'm not, judging myself or anybody else. But there is a normalization of suffering, that it's normal, that it's natural part of being highly sensitive. No, don't believe that. It's kind of the first thing we have to be aware of and wake up to is I'm not accepting this. We get a backbone. We're like, I am not accepting this crap suffering anymore. No, I'm not doing it. I'm going to learn what I need to learn. I'm going to gain the tools. I'm going to rehabituate myself to peace, joy, calm, tranquility. This is going to be my new normal. Instead of this, this. We can do that. It's totally possible. Not only possible, it's easier than you think. Keep watching my channel. This is what I talk about every week. Is how to do this in little bites and pieces. And remember, every moment is fresh and new. My favorite physicist, Nassim Haramein, talks about, I watched this interview with him once, and he talked about how humans are actually phase shifting in and out of reality. So just in me doing that, I've actually phase shifted. It's like my hand just isn't moving. I have phase shifted in and out of reality. I don't know how many times, more than once. It's not just one continuous movement. I've gone in and out, in and out, in and out. And so there is just a perpetual now. And we keep this continuity, this illusion of continuity alive in our minds so that we can then justify, well, I suffered yesterday, so I'm going to suffer today. This hurt me 10 years ago, so it's going to hurt me today. Like, we use autobiographical data from our memories to be like, well, this is how it was, and so this is how it is now. No. Today is fresh and new. Today, this moment is the same as 2 moments ago. Isn't the same. Right now. It's this perpetuating wellspring of the present moment. It's beautiful. It's refreshing. It's renewing anything that's possible because it's all perpetual now. So every moment is fresh and new. Just because we suffered yesterday doesn't mean we have to suffer today. And it's an illusion to think that there's a continuum that, oh, well, then I have to change. I have to change gradually. No, people's lives change in an instant, for good or for bad. It's because we're always in the perpetual now. So that fact, that truth, if you decide to accept it, is releasing from, this I've been on this journey. I've been in HSP for 50 years, and how could I change now? Every moment is fresh and new. It doesn't matter. It's the meaning that we give it that makes it matter. And so if it doesn't mean anything or it doesn't matter in your reality. So I'm pushing my case really hard here, aren't I? Yes. So as we kind of recondition into, I'm not going to accept suffering anymore. I'm just going to, think and feel in the way that I want to, in the way that's pleasant and calm. And I'm going to do that instead and make that my new normal. And then, very soon it becomes normal. And it's that easy. It's just habit change. And one good question to ask ourselves to really get authentic and genuine about our experience. If we're suffering a lot as a highly sensitive person, this question can change your life. What do I get from suffering? What's the payout? What is the payout for your suffering, for your unhappiness, for your dis-ease, for your melancholy, for your depression, for your anxiety? What is the payout? There's always a payout. Everything has pros and cons. What's the payout? So I'll give you an example of mine. So my payout for not being well emotionally was sympathy. I got sympathy, right? Because I felt deeply alone and unloved. Not that I wasn't receiving love from the outside. It's just that I couldn't feel it. I wasn't good at receiving it. And so I would get that sympathy. When I cried, I would call someone and they would comfort me. It offered comfort and predictability. It was comfortable. It was familiar. It was predictable. I'm going to touch on that and go a little bit deeper in a second. But it was also, I didn't have to move forward and shine, right? If I was struggling, I didn't have to shine. And as a child, I learned when I was shining, people would want to knock me down, right? I was the smartest in class. People would attack me. They would try to steal my homework. They would try to get me to cheat with them. They would try to get me to give them the answers to things. They would literally threaten my physical well-being if I didn't, give them, share my shine with them. And so I think subconsciously that fear of shining is dangerous. So I'm not going to shine. I'm not going to shine. I'm gonna wither. I'm gonna wither. And that, that fear of shining and created subconsciously, whether I was aware of it or not, that's what that means. This hiding in misery. Because if I was already inflicting misery upon myself, the world, if I was getting it from shining, then it was probably gonna, I was probably gonna receive it less likely, I thought, to receive it if I was already in misery. So my thought, let's go back to the comfort and predictability. I had a lot of disappointments. Again, I would get really excited about something or someone or a situation and then get disappointed when something happened to it. It went away, it disappeared, it evaporated, the person let me down, whatever. That disappointment was so heavy. And so the payoff for me in misery and suffering and being uncomfortable was that I could control it. It was very predictable, right? I could predict, being upset about something and suffering about it, and then get the second dopamine hit in actually suffering about it. So it was a dopaminergic, again, payout from staying in a suffering loop. And when I talk about drama addiction, I really think some HSPs, probably those who are pretty ambitious or, sensory seeking, if I've found, and this is what was true in my life, if I wasn't getting it from the outside world, if the outside world wasn't exciting and thrilling enough, if I wasn't getting enough adventure, I would supplement with my dopaminergic loops. And typically for me, it was suffering and pain. And because I could not only predict them, I knew then I would get upset about it. And then, like I said, get that second hit. So, and if things consistently fell apart, they were very predictable and comfortable, and comfort in misery. This comfort in misery. If this is resonating for you, awesome. That's great, because it's, you're waking up into this awareness of wow, maybe I'm doing this, and maybe I can then put it all aside and develop new neural pathways. Yes, you can. Maybe I can learn to appreciate things just as they are and make peace with reality and not have to either anticipate, it falling apart or be disappointed. Yes, you can do all those things. If I can do it, you can do it. Seriously. And I want to teach you. I want to train you. I want to show you you're in the right place. So, and there was a safety in that. And avoiding disappointment. Right? Avoiding that disappointment by constantly being disappointed. I didn't have the high of oh my gosh, it's going to go right. Oh God, it's crashing. If it was always crashing, it was okay, this is comfortable and predictable. So, and that lowers my psychic entropy. That kept things, if I was familiar with suffering and comfortable in suffering, then I didn't have to go into the unknown of, actually rising out of it and excelling and achieving again and overcoming my fear of shining. I didn't have to go into the unknown. I could stay in the familiar. And I could stay in a place where things were constantly shitty, and I was perpetuating that, with my thoughts I was thinking, the way my body was feeling. So, what do you think about this? I know this might feel a little edgy if you are someone who is suffering, but I'm here to tell you that there is hope. There is hope, and it really is just habit change. Suffering doesn't mean anything about you as a person. It doesn't mean you're less of a person. It doesn't mean that it's any, permanent quality of your character, you're just not worthy, you're not meant for more, you're not good enough. It doesn't mean any of that. I think where we really take things too far maybe is when we look at these emotional reactions and we make assumptions about ourself and who we are and our identity based on our emotional reactions. Emotional reactions are, again, our thinking in our mind and our feeling, which is thinking with our body. Those habits then perpetuated. So whatever we do consistently with those two, and then the habits we've created from that, that's all it is. It's really simple. And so if we want to be a different person and have a different experience, we just start to tinker with these two things: how we think and how we feel. How we think and how we feel. How we think and how we feel, until they become habit. Right? I want you to remember the bunny ears. Anyway, I hope this helped you. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you thought. And if you are suffering, sign up for my course. It'll help you get off that path, help you recondition yourself, help you start to move in the direction that you want to go and be the person you want to be and feel what you want to feel on a daily basis. It's totally within your power and your grasp. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. Catch you later.